In this video, I'm going to show you boys my 7-1 Wilt build on NBA 2K26. Now, in a game where everyone is all about shooting, I decided I'm going to go the opposite way, okay? I am done trying to keep up with this shooting bigs and fading. So I said to myself, I'm going to make a pure inside. Now, I am going to take you guys to the builder to kind of show you guys how I end up with this build, but this is essentially, and relax, okay, your boy, your passes can still go up to the 70s, okay? You don't need anything more than that. But anyways, back to my point. So this is my Wilt build, right? Now, a lot of centers, I've seen you guys, a lot of people always opt to, take away the shooting. What you guys don't understand is shooting doesn't really cost a lot on this game. You can go from, I don't know, 50 to a 78 3, and your overall can go up from a 96 to a 97. So it's not really, whilst it's a good cap breaker to use, it's not the best. Now, a lot of people, what I've noticed is you guys don't use your block rating. Now, this is a very underrated one. As you guys can see with this build, I went from a 56 block to a 86 block, which basically means, and block is quite expensive for a big, if you guys don't know. So, if you're a center, it's a very expensive attribute. So this is a bigger one to use as opposed to using your shooting, because it doesn't really make much of a difference. So what you can pretty much do is turn somewhat of a pure, I don't know, this is basically like a pure inside build. You guys will see I'm going to play with this build in the highlights, right? I'm pretty much sitting in the paint all day. I didn't even show a lot of like shooting clips. I think I showed one or two for you guys, but I do and I can shoot on the build, okay? So that is not a problem, but a lot of people, and the way I play with it, I pretty much want to be a pure inside. And if you get, if I'm open on the outside and no one's guarding me, then I'm going to shoot the ball. Now, what can you get on this build? You guys can see your potentials right here. You can get 99 rebound chaser. You can get a 99 standing dunk. You can get a 95 post control. So these are some of the stuff that can go up with this build, okay? So in terms of everything else, you're kind of capped. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the strength and all that stuff, why I kind of left at 80. But for now, let me quickly show you guys my animations. Nothing too exciting, nothing too crazy. It's just pretty much basic stuff right here. But actually, the dunks are pretty important, actually. Now, a lot of bigs always struggle, so these are the ones I've got right now, and they've been kind of working for me so far. So these are the ones I'm using that aren't too bad or too crazy. But yeah, let's check the highlights of this build out. We're going to go into the build. We're going to break it down a little bit more. This is a very fun, dominant inside build that has the capability of shooting. So here we are in the rec, boys. Okay, now again, like I mentioned in the intro, we are just pretty much trying to be as dominant in the paint as we can. Okay, now this build does go crazy with the standing dunk. Talking about the standing dunks, I am going to talk a little bit more about them, and is it really worth having a 95 standing dunk, or can you do a little bit better? But that's something else we're going to talk about when we go into the builder. I'm going to tell you guys my opinion, which may surprise some of you guys. But anyways, you guys can see I am trying to dominate the boards as much as I can. Now, you guys know in this game, every fucking center is 7'4", sitting on the three-point line, barely cut into the paint. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to join the club. Right? I want to join the club of the pure inside. Now, like I said, this build can shoot, so relax. Okay, if I do need to space the floor, I will space the floor. But a lot of times, I'm choosing not to. Now, the other key thing is when I do play a lot of inside centers, you don't want to get in the way of your teammates. And you guys will see in some of the clips what I mean by that. Your position, oh, look at that, just going crazy. Your position underneath the paint is very, very important. What you don't want to do is you don't want your teammates to drive and they can't get a bucket. You guys can see where I'm standing. So that way, even if my teammate drives, you should be smart enough to be like, okay, the center is here. Let me then feed it to my center. So the center technically cannot help right now. The perimeter defense on this build is not bad either. For a build at 7-1, that's exactly why I went with sort of like a lighter build, right, as opposed to like a heavier 7-1 build. You're so light, can get up and down the court very, very quickly, which obviously helps when it comes to the getting a rebound. You guys can see they start fouling, right? Then as soon as I start dunking on people underneath the paint, and you guys can see how they start guarding me. See what I mean? Like, people generally think I can't shoot because I spend so much time in the paint. They're just like, nah, we're going to let him take a shot. But then I told you, you can literally shoot consistently all day. In fact, you can spot all game if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it. But see what I mean about your position as an inside center. The reason why a lot of people hate playing with an inside center is a lot of you guys sit underneath the paint, right? You guys literally sit underneath the paint. You guys can see my position. I'm always on the edge of each side. So wherever the play is, I always try and stay on the edge. So that way I don't get in the way of my teammates. They can still dunk the ball. They can still stop and then pass it up to me. and I'm not really a liability right here. You guys can see guys are already jumping. I'm gonna wait again, wait for another jump. So this is a really, really fun build. Like I mentioned, I'm not really showing a lot of shooting clips because I'm just trying to show you guys how dominant inside this build is, okay? It doesn't matter. You guys can see these are bigs I'm playing against. These are 7'4s and a 7-foot power forward. So, like, both of them are struggling to keep me out of that paint. And I'm going to be there all day, right? Again, a lot of time on this game, too many centers nowadays, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Y'all be sitting on the outside, bro, way too much. And I feel like this, the skilled inside centers don't really exist anymore. You guys can see again the position there. You guys will see what I mean? Like, I'm not really getting in his way, even though it may look like it. All you have to do is just obviously drive a bit. My center's gonna jump, you pass it to me, and I'm just gonna dunk the ball. You guys can see you can snag as well on the build, okay? The snagging is great, and I ain't even got 99 rebound yet. I'm still on 94, and I still capped it, and you still get a decent driving dunk green window. You guys can see when it was open, you get a good animation. You can still block the shot, okay? This is a very, very fun build. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break it down. Let's go into the build. I'll talk a little bit more about how I opted for what I did with the block rating as well. So here we are in the builder, okay, very, very quick. We're going to be 7'1", again, kind of like Wilt, 232 pounds, 7'7" wingspan, which is pretty much the max wingspan on this build. Now, one of the biggest mistake that I made, now it's not really a mistake because I really wanted to try out, was the standing dunk. Now, you guys can see with this build, I do have a 95 standing dunk. Is it worth it? And the answer, as you guys may be very surprised to hear it, and I know you guys are looking at the clips, you're like, but Fate, you're going crazy. No, it is not worth it. I'm telling you boys right now. Okay, I've played, and you guys can see I spend a lot of time in the paint. So if there's someone that can tell you what is worth it and what isn't worth it, is 95 worth it? No. The green window, I don't know what 2K did ever since they've touched the dunk windows in general, whether it's the driving dunk or anything, the bar is just crazy. It's too inconsistent. When you're underneath the paint, the speed of it changes way too frequently. Sometimes you're expecting it to be slow, it's going to be fast. When you're expecting it to be fast, it's going to be slow. There are certain times, and I wish I clipped them, I just couldn't be asked, but trust me on this. I'm playing against little centers, I'm playing against tiny small forwards helping in the paint, and the green window is so tiny. Y'all can see my stats. I'm 7'1" with a 95 standing dunk. Like, all these 7'4", shooting bigs with an 89, by the way, they're shooting in people's faces all game and no one can contest them. Well, they kind of patched that a little bit now, but it's still pretty overpowered. You guys get what I mean. But so if I have a 95 and I'm underneath that paint, I'm sorry, bro. Like, y'all should be getting dunked on consistently. So in my opinion, it's not consistent enough for me to say it's worth it. So bear that in mind. There is an alternative if you guys are thinking, and I wish I did this. Obviously, I wouldn't have known until I made the build. I wish I had done this instead. You guys can see, all I've done is simply flip my standing dunk to my post control. Now, what that does is it allows me to be able to get a 99 post control instead. And I think that's a better way of doing it. I don't think there's anything wrong with a 90 standing dunk. I think that's all you need in the game. I also have my KD build, which I also play quite a lot on, and I have only an 85 as of right now in that build. That can go up to 90, but I've got 85 right now, and I dunk just fine in the same position as my 7'1" center. It's kind of very similar, so it's very weird to me. What it also does when you have a 95 standing dunk is it makes you very, very, very complacent, right? Because you're thinking, oh, I have a 95, I can dunk on everyone. Nope, the game is going to say no to you. So unfortunately, 95 standing dunk is not worth it. I'm not saying it's bad, I just don't think it's worth going that high on it. I do think this is a better way of doing the build because now you then have the capability and the option of getting a 99 post control. So you can already shoot the ball, you already spend a lot of time in the paint, but now you'll be able to get a 99 post control, meaning you can spin guys, you can drop step them, you can dunk even easier now. The passing, like I mentioned at the start of the game, even at 56 right now, I have no issue. Like, most of the time, I'm passing to the closest player to me. I have no problem. Again, it can go up to the 70s. I think that's all you really need. If you're one of these guys that want a super high passing center build and you don't really care about post control, or you don't play in a post, it's not really your thing, then put all this all the way down and then increase your passing. It's not a problem at all. Again, a lot of centers You guys can see the beautiful thing about cap breakers this year is the ability to be able to go up in quite a large margin, right? If this was last year, this build would have been cooked because I would only be able to go up to a 60. But luckily for us this year, you can go from a 56 block all the way up to a 86, right? Which is very, very, very good. I do still think the gold paint patroller is the sweet spot. So I'm not sure if it's 93 you need. I believe it is a 93 block rating. I think that's the best, in my opinion, the best sweet spot, because I've played a lot of centers and guys with 93 block, they are very difficult to score on, bro. They block a lot of shots. So whilst 86 is not bad, I do think 93 is still the sweet spot for the dunking. Now, with the physicals of this build, which I think some of you guys may, have a bit of concern. Why did I go specifically for 80 strength? The reason why I went for 80 strength in particular is because you need that in order to get the Crasher badge. And if you guys don't know about the Crasher takeover, it basically allows you to set big body screens. So pretty much, even though you don't have that strength to be able to set like a 91 strength type of center build, set those big screens, the Crasher badge helps a ton. Like, I'm setting screens and guys are getting stuck on me, even though I've only got an 80. But having an 80 strength also allows you to have a lot of good physicals. 68 speed, 56 agility, 65 perimeter defense. So I move pretty well when I'm helping my guards out in the pick and roll. Again, I play a lot of random rec. All the clips I showed you guys are all in random rec. So you want to be able to do that. I also use my takeover for defensive. So that way you're not like too much of a liability on the defensive end. And we've got 81 vertical. So there's so many different variations of center builds, but this is my one. And I really like this build. I think it's really, really fun. This is how I wish I remade it. Personally, you could have just, maybe dropped this down or something and, go for 86. I don't know. Just you do whatever you think is best at this stage. But I do think this is a better way of making it. So if you are thinking of making this build, I know this video is dragging and I'm speaking a lot, but I just want to make sure you guys do not waste your money, right? Go for a 94 post control over a 95 standing dunk. But if you don't care and you're someone that knows how to capitalize with that tiny green window into paint, and you want that 99 standing dunk, then make the one I made, and you only need a +4 to go from a 95 to a 99 standing dunk, which is, I suppose it's still going to be good. It's not bad. I just don't think it's worth it. That's just all that is. But we'll find out, maybe when I get a 99 standing dunk, my opinion might change on the build. But this is pretty much it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Your boy's not been uploading because 2K right now, listen, we're just waiting for season 2, boys. Okay, once the patch is done, yeah, then we might start taking this game seriously. Right now, I don't take this game seriously, bro. My puck is fading everywhere, right? The game is it's in a state, Mike Wong, okay? I know you love your rhythm shooting. I know you put it into the game, but you need to patch that and the fades, okay? It's not just the fades, patch rhythm shooting as well, because guys are just flicking up and down without timing their shots, and it's getting ridiculous. But this is not for that video. This is my build video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I have no idea what I'm going to post next. I will try and get like a 7-4 build for you boys. If you guys want to overpower 7-4 build, I think I may have that just before the new season starts. So hopefully I'm able to get that video out for you guys then. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you boys in the next one.